Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. My name is KHADIJAH binti AMINUDIN BAKI. I will present to you about the definition of the legal reasoning and the types of legal reasoning. So what is legal reasoning? Legal reasoning is a method of thought and argument used by lawyers and judges when applying legal rules. To specific, it is about the interaction among the legal persons. So legal reasoning in the case of a court's ruling is found in the discussion or analysis section of the judicial ruling. So it is here that the courts give reason for its legal ruling, and it helps the courts, lawyers and judges to use and follow the ruling in subsequent proceeding. Therefore, the discussion or analysis section must be well reasoned and written. Okay, next there are two central forms of legal reasoning, which are the precedent and analogy. These are found in many legal systems such as the common law, which is found in both England and the United States. So precedent is where an earlier decision is applied in a later case because the two cases are same, while analogy involves an earlier decision being used in a later case because the latter case is similar to the earlier one. Okay, so next let's take a look to the types of legal reasoning. First, the rule-based reasoning or deductive reasoning. Rule-based reasoning is the most important type of legal reasoning. In rule-based reasoning, you will take a rule, a statute or a case holding and apply it to a set of facts. In addition, some rules have one or more exceptions that, if present, will defeat the result even if all the elements are present. So, an example of a rule would be that intentional infliction of emotional harm occurs if, first, the defendant's conduct is outrageous, second, the defendant's conduct is intentional, third, the defendant's conduct causes, and lastly, the severe emotional distress. Second, the reasoning by analogy or concerns finding similarities. Reasoning by analogy in the law occurs when one argues that the facts of the preceding case are like the facts of the present case, so that the rule of the preceding case should apply to the present case. We also can relate it like A is like B, so the rule from A applies to B. Third, the distinguishing cases. In distinguishing cases, one argues that the facts of the preceding case are not like the facts of the present case, so that the rule from the preceding case does not apply to the present case. Fourth, reasoning by policies. The writers argue that applying a particular rule to a case would create a precedent that is good for society. Lastly, the inductive reasoning. Inductive reasoning is a reasoning from the specific to the general. Lawyers use inductive reasoning to synthesize rules. In other words, lawyers take the holdings from the several cases, and by synthesizing those specific cases, they will come up with a general rule. To synthesize a rule, they will look at the similarities among the facts of the preceding cases and the differences among the facts of the preceding cases, and they will also look at the reasoning behind the holdings.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nazhan Mustaqim. And today I'll be presenting few topics in legal reasoning. So the first one is steps in legal reasoning. There are 5 steps in legal reasoning, which are issue, rule, facts, analysis, and conclusion. So the first one is define the issue. We define the topic that may have violated any laws. The second one is we state the rules. So the rules or laws that violated the issue are quoted. And the third one is we gather the facts. In this step, we collect materials, facts that are relevant to the case. And the fourth one is analysis. We apply those collected material facts to the case. And the last one is conclusion. We conclude whether there are any violation of the rules and law. So to understand better about the steps, this as an example. Somebody reported an online harassment. It just define the issue as online harassments. Second, what are the laws that cover on online harassments? It just depend on the country or states that has laws regarding online harassment. So we quoted those laws and applied it to the issue. And the third one, is there any proof or materials of the harassment? This is gather the facts, which is the material facts that we gather that are relevant to the case, and what can be analyzed from the behavior, which is analyze. We apply those material facts to the case or to the issue, And the last one is the conclusion. We conclude whether there are any harassments that is happening to the victim. So that's all for steps for legal reasoning. So for the next one, I'll be presenting the benefits of legal reasoning. So the first benefit is avoid rhetorical arguments that could spark emotional sparks in agreements that could lead to fallacies. As we know, argument without actual facts could be leading to false conclusion or fallacies. And the second benefit is recognize that different scenario has shared similarity with one another, however, they has their own uniqueness. This could be proven by the rules or law. Every different cases does not have different law or rules. Instead, they apply different cases that are similar to a law or rule. And the last benefit is understanding how a rule or policy is applied to a situation and the right method to apply it. So by these laws or rules, we do not make a quick conclusion whether the person is have violated the rule or not. Instead, we go through these 5 steps that I have presented before to define or to conclude whether the persons truly violated the rules or no. So that's all for the benefits of legal reasoning.
So, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today I will talk about the disadvantages of legal reasoning. There are not many disadvantages in this perfect legal reasoning actually, but I will come out some of disadvantages. So I have came out with 3 disadvantages. So number 1 is late in making decision. So of course we know that legal reasoning is an applied to make a better decision, but it cannot be used in rush situation. So for example, when we on the rushing situation, we want to make a decision, we have to think it fastly and come up with a fast decision. And the second one is cannot be used in every situation, as I said that it cannot do in the rush situation. Legal reasoning is more onto judicial, precedent and court. It can be used in daily life, but not in all situations. For example, in talk of feeling. So in the talk of feeling, we cannot say that someone feeling with a logical thing. We have to think it outside of it. So we can say that not every situation can be used. Unlike when we want to talk about the someone feeling and someone characteristic, we cannot use a logical thinking and logical reasoning in outcome the decision and what is after that. And the second one is that they only state on logic. In all reasoning, we have to think the possible outcome, even if it's something imaginable or out of our mind. So it is actually an logic and cannot be fantasized or out of logically, and it cannot also use imaginably, and it also cannot be used in fantasy. So we know that there are also the disadvantages in legal reasoning actually, but there are more advantage. The legal reasoning is packed of advantages and less of disadvantages, but in the light there is also shadow. In the positive there is also a negative. And that's all from me. Thank you.
So we continue to the next topic, which is relation with daily life as a Muslim. So I'm going to give you a simple definition of this topic. So legal reasoning in Islamic is ijtihad, and ijtihad actually encourages us to think about searching for a better solution in our life. There are 3 benefits of ijtihad that can be related to our life. Firstly, it can help us to find a solution to a problem. For example, we always face any problem today, so we need to calm it wisely. For the second point, it does mean the law that apply in Islam every circumstances, time, and develop time. For instance, when we had travel with our family as a Muslim, we should perform Salah. And the way we do will be different because it can be short and confining of the time. So, third point, when a Muslim are faced new problems, the law will. So, legal reasoning have 5 elements which are issue, fact, analysis, and conclusion. For example, someone accused something that I do not do can be related to the issue. And when someone accuse you something like that, you can implement the law according to the rule section 499 in Kanun Syafia. And the fact that I'm being affected by the statement of accusing, such as him or her have been treated badly by the people surrounding him. So, on analysis, according to the rules section 499 in Kanun Syafia, that person was given on should be punished or should be have something action on him. And then lastly, for the conclusion, based on the fact and according to the element of the rule, I can say that the person engaged in unlawful. So that's I think how legal reasoning can be in context of Muslim.
And we will continue our topic, relation between legal reasoning in students' daily life. Under this topic, we will discuss about why the students should empower the legal reasoning by explaining the benefit they will gain. And also, I will explain to you by using an example so you can be clear how to use legal reasoning. Starting from the first point, to provide the children with necessary tools that help them to be a productive adult. As we know, as an adult, we need to make a lot of decisions that might impact us and the people around us. So, by using legal reasoning, they will less likely to use emotion in reasoning. This will help them to have a clear vision and the decision can be made effectively. Second, legal reasoning will equip students to participate productively in the political and legal aspect. Young adults today want to participate in social changes. In Malaysia, as young as 18 years old, you can vote and your voice are counted to determine the future of your country. In order to make a wise decision in choosing, they need to use legal argument. So, they can be strategic in making reasoning and being reasonable with their decision. The third point is teaching law to young children, as a lot of skills will be enhanced when they empower the legal reasoning. Some of the skills are they will be open-minded. They will have an excellent understanding to the other side of any problems they face. By being exposed to other perspectives, they will develop sense of intellectual and humility. The fourth reason is legal reasoning will help to form a reasonable opinion that are accepted in society. Skill of legal reasoning will help young people to approach life issues with reasonableness. The idea of reasonableness is access to the appropriate kind of behavior as a member of society. Part of being reasonable is considering the impact on other people and modifying your expectation and your request suits to the social need. Moving to the last point, which is to educate the children to identify which are the reliable sources. Also differentiate what information applies to your situation. So I will explain to you guys the example in situation of a student. So as a student, for example, you want to ask your teacher to extend the due date of your homework. So the first thing is the issue. So what is the issue? You don't have enough time to complete your assignment. Rule. What is the rule? You must submit before the date of submission. The thing is the fact. The fact is the assignment was actually very long and the time provided was not enough. So there is some fact you need to be highlighted there. So the fourth is analysis, whether the situation are implying to yourself or to also your friends. The time is actually was not enough. So it is a valid argument. In conclusion, your reasoning is valid. You may ask your teacher to extend the due date. I hope with this example it will clear how to use legal reasoning as a student. That's all from us. Bye. Assalamualaikum.